what we just discussed. This is what the Most High is telling you right now. Read verse 35, probably.
In the same chapter.
In the same chapter.
And we're in 2 Kings chapter 17.
Yeah.
With whom the Most High Power had made a covenant.
We knew who he made a covenant with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who is those people he made a covenant with?
Israel.
Come on.
And charged them, saying, Ye shall not fear other gods, nor bow yourself to them, nor serve them,
right?
Nor sacrifice to them.
Israel was doing that. And the Most High had a problem with it because he chose us from the beginning to be his people. What is my people that? Why are they serving Baal? What's going on?
And it goes back to what we were reading, where he says, "Consider in thine heart." That's a deep few of words. Consider in thine heart. That means keep it in your heart and understand from this day forth. Teach it to your children, children's forever, to understand you don't bow to anybody else. I am the Lord.
And it's the same thing with our dietary laws. That's why we don't eat bottom feeders. No offense to anyone, because I did it before I was woke up. I love pork. I love catfish. I dabbled in strip. Yes, I did. But the Most High woke me up to the truth. He said, don't do it because you're a holy people. Be ye holy as I am holy. They're bottom feeders. And I had to wake up to understand and say, and look at it and say, wait a minute. The Most High know what's good for me. Better than I know for myself.
He has a purpose for everything that he set in this earth. And he set them to keep it clean.
Why am I sick? Why I'm not feeling well? Well, consider the way that you live.
Yeah. What are you eating? What are you putting in your body?
Are we living according to what the Most High wants us to do?
Clean living. We need some clean living. Some holy living.
There's things that we do, brothers, that make us unclean. That make us not healthy. That make us sick.
Yeah.
The things that we eat, the things that we say, the things that we do. Let's go into the Apocrypha. All praise is due to the Most High. Let's go into the Apocrypha, and we're going to go to First Maccabees. Now, this is the Greek period in the Maccabees. But look, we've seen this in Kings.
Yeah. We've
seen in 2 Kings, they brought Babylonians, pagans, into our land.
That's right.
Go to First Maccabees here.
Sure.
And what did I say, Prophets? Chapter 3?
We didn't say one yet, but okay.
Let me see. First Maccabees. Yeah, First Maccabees chapter 3.
All right. Where do you want me to start?
Now. Okay. Going to First Maccabees, brothers and sisters, and the Apocrypha. If you don't have an Apocrypha, you can pull it up online. We do read from the King James Version, Authorized Version Apocrypha. But I'm going to have the prophets read, starting at verse 42. Okay, verse 42. Now, this is to sum it up. This is the Maccabees' sons. All right, this is the brothers. They're together. All right, and the men that worship the Most High. Come on, prophets.
And it was a battle, right?
Yep.
Weren't they fighting? Samaria was fighting against Israel.
Yep.
Right. All right, verse 42. Now, when Judas and his brethren saw that miseries, and please understand, this is not the Judas from Christ's time. Now, when Judas and his brethren saw that miseries were multiplied, and that the forces did encamp themselves in their borders, for they knew how the king had given commandment to destroy the people and utterly abolish them.
Same thing in verse 83, chapter 83 of Psalms. Utterly destroy, wipe them out. They have always been committed to wipe us out as a people. Come on.
They said one to another, let us restore the decayed fortune of our people, and let us fight for our people and the sanctuary. Then was the congregation gathered together that they might be ready for battle, and that they might pray and ask mercy and compassion. Now Jerusalem lay void as a wilderness. There was none of her children that went in or out. The sanctuary also was trodden down, and aliens kept the stronghold.
This word for aliens is Gentiles, is foreigners.
In foreigners, strangers in the land.
Not aliens in spacecraft.
Right.
Okay. All right.
All right. And aliens kept the stronghold.
And they kept the stronghold.
Mm-hmm. Come on. The heathen had their habitation in that place.
The heathen what?
The heathen had their habitation in that place.
So the heathen was still ruling in the land during this time, right? Mm-hmm. Come on.
And joy was taken from Jacob.
Come on.
And the pipe with the harp ceased.
Wasn't no real gospel music being going on in the land. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Wasn't no joy. Wasn't no real gospel going on while the heathen was in there.
The heathen was in the land. The joy had been taken from Jacob. They had put them out their land. And really they were just oppressing them.
The true worship came with the house of David. David knew how to worship. These people didn't know how to worship our God. We've seen that in Kings. Right?
They put them out, took over, and they had a stronghold. So the aliens kept the stronghold. The stronghold would be your mindset that, you trodden down. The habitation is going to be wicked and evil. There is no joy there for Jacob.
Now, Prophet, we'll just bring this out according to the scripture on how this is a mirror of what's going on today.
Right, absolutely.
Our people is not blessed. Our people is not prosperous because they have not returned to the laws and statutes of the Most High God.
Yeah.
Point blank. Yeah. We won't prosper. We won't advance in the nation that we should be unless we find out who we are as a people. Get your pride back and understand what we're called to do. And be obedient to that will in that way.
Who we belong to.
Who we belong to. Because we belong to somebody. They have told you, though, brothers, that you was a Gentile. Yeah. I'm telling you, the Most High is telling you.
And people believe it. Because, and it saddens me. I wanted to say that, Elder, because you're absolutely right. We're not going to be able to stand up. Everyone keeps wandering around and looking around. What do we need to do to come together? Why is it so hard for us? Because you're not accepting the truth, first of all. And it comes from the person that looks like you. You would rather receive the lie from the enemy than receive the truth from your brothers and sisters.
They didn't even receive Christ in his own land.
And he tells us that they're going to treat us like that.
Yep.
And it's just sad that so many you laugh and joke all the way down to your death.
Laugh.
It'll be a joke until it becomes real.
Hey, mind you, do the research on this. For those that woke up to the truth and finding out facts is facts. Everybody who makes up a joke or who points the finger at this truth. And I'm talking about the truth of waking up of who you are, right? Who makes light of it.
Yeah, that we really are Israel.
Look to see what happens to some of the people. One day they're here, one day they're not. Now, we was looking at a documentary on the rapper Prodigy. He had a form of being woken up, but he woke up in the midst of a people that was really afraid of who he was,
what he was understanding,
and he thought he was untouchable, but he's touchable. Yeah. You're right in their grasp, right there.
And that's another thing. Sometimes we want to get hung up on all the different variations of what people consider true. Right. And just like Prodigy, in all honesty, the Holy Spirit's revealed to us, Elder, that there are layers of the wake up. Like I call the 1%ers and the 5%ers. I said they're saying right there in their title, by identifying themselves as a 1% and a 5%, that they're not whole. Exactly. They don't have the whole truth.
That your title explaining where you are.
Explaining you that you don't have you're in the right direction.
Right, you're in the right direction.
You're in the right, and that's what we need to understand. Be humble enough to say you're going in the right direction, but you're not quite there yet.
Well, and it's same for you, brother, that say, hey, you know what? You know that you're a Hebrew. You know you're supposed to keep these holy days and these feast days. But for some reason, you haven't accepted Christ. You off track, brother. Right. You off track. You got to get back on track. Christ is everything. Okay? You're not saved because you're a Hebrew. You're saved for accepting Christ.
That's right.
Okay. So, prophets, where we at? We're still in the Apocrypha. We're going right back to, start again at verse 43.
Okay. Well, we were at 45. Which one? Okay. They said one to another, let us restore the decayed fortune of our people, and let us fight for our people and the sanctuary. Then was the congregation gathered together, that they might be ready for battle, and that they might pray and ask mercy and compassion. Now Jerusalem lay void as a wilderness. There was none of her children that went in or out. The sanctuary also was trodden down, and aliens or foreigners kept the stronghold. The heathen had their habitation in that place, and joy was taken from Jacob, and the pipe with the harp ceased. Wherefore the Israelites assembled themselves together and came to Mashpah over against Jerusalem. For in Mashpah was the place where they prayed aforetime in Israel. Then they fasted that day and put on sackcloth and cast ashes upon their heads and rent their clothes. They brought also the priests and laid okay, so they rent their clothes and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen.
Wait a minute. What happened here?
They laid open the book.
What's the book of the law?
Of the law.
What's the book? Wasn't the book of the law the Torah?
Yeah, that's all they had then.
But before that, something happened, brothers and sisters, and this is why we look at precept upon precept, line upon line, verse upon verse. Look.
And some of the prophets too were written of.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They go ahead, prophet.
And laid open the book of the law. You want me to read that?
No, I want you to read verse 47 again.
Okay. Then they fasted that day and put on sackcloth and cast ashes upon their heads and rent their clothes.
When we put on sackcloth and put ashes upon our heads, that's us in the morning. Mm-hmm. That was a tradition that our people did. Mm-hmm. When you see the woman at the funeral and she's wearing that black veil, that's a form of ashes. That's a form of sackcloth on her head. When they cover their heads up and mourning, that's what that's about. Come on, prophet, read that again, verse 48.
And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likenesses of their images.
Wait a minute. This is in the Apocrypha during the time of the Maccabees, and these heathen painted the likeness of what?
Wait a minute. Wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
Brothers and sisters, we know through history there was something called whitewashing. Right? Whitewashing. Meaning that they overpainted the true characters that were portrayed. Yeah. They opened up the book of our law and painted their likenesses in the book. Come on, prophets, keep going.
And so we have to remember where we are. This is the people of Samaria.
They teaching in Jerusalem,
coming from Israel, coming to fight against Israel. And we just read where we saw where they took over, and they were worshiping pagan gods. Not ordained. And now we even see it when they come back to open up their to pray and open up the book of the law. What do they see? Blasphemy, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. So the images that we did see in there, they have been put in there. Here it is, right here.
So, brothers and sisters, when you go into these churches and they have a so-called white man on a cross with thorns on his head, that image is a fake image. That's not the image portrayed. It's not the true description of what Christ looked like.
Absolutely.
So if it's not true, what is it? It's false.
Absolutely. It's just so obvious though. We have so much history behind us. It's imperative that we pay attention. When we think about Christ and when you say it's not him, when you think about it, we always say, watch the characteristics. The characteristics of our people.
Is it identified?
It's an identifier. So when Christ, how many stripes or how many lashes did Christ receive?
39 less 40?
No, 40 less 1. That's how they say, save 1. So therefore it was 39 stripes. When slaves were beaten.
Come on.
How many would they give them? I mean, it was a known fact across plantations that you hit them how many times? 40, save 1. They got 39 licks.
What they did to Christ, brothers and sisters, they did to you.
That's right.
Similarities. And I'm glad the prophet is bringing that out. They hung Christ on the tree, and they only hung really one race of people.
And that's the thing. Go through history. I mean, they tell them themselves, because we are the only history